Today, we're going to talk about live streaming for coaches and consultants. So if you want to generate more sales, if you want to grow your authority and create a steady source of leads in your business, then you're going to want to stick around, because I think you're going to love today's episode more than Ricky loves Lucy. And I mean that in the kindest way. You're watching the business of live video, and we are so glad that you're here today. I couldn't be more thrilled to be your host. My name is Owen, and if you're watching for the first time, be sure to type new in the comment section down below so we can say hello to you. And remember, you can always skip ahead to the 10-minute mark if you want to just jump right into the content. Otherwise, stick around, because we're going to greet some of our live audience. We're going to do some giveaways, and we're going to recognize some outstanding members of our community. It's going to be a big show today, so I hope that you'll join us. But first, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors over at Restream. All the cool stuff that you see us doing here today, all the things that are going on above and around you, are all made possible by the folks and the software over at Restream. So I want you to go get your free account, because with Restream, you could actually be broadcasting your Zoom meetings right now. You can also restream your videos to up to 250 social media sites all at the same time. And this is all for free. You can do this all for free. So I want you to go get a free account over at Restream. And when you do, you're going to get this live broadcast studio that has a ton of other cool features. Like you can share your screen. You can add up to 10 different guests. You even get all of these cool graphics. You can add your logo and your brand colors and really make this look like your own show. Plus, these in-depth analytics that will really help you to grow your show. So get started for free right now at epiclivevideo.com. That's right. Go to epiclivevideo.com. And when you do, you're actually going to be entered to win a Rode Pod mic. That's right. So for this month and next month, every time you start a free account at Restream, you're going to be entered to win a Rode Pod mic. And here's something that's even more special. If you already have Restream right now and you upgrade to the $16 plan, you're also going to be entered to win a Rode Pod mic. So go to epiclivevideo.com. That's epiclivevideo.com and get started with Restream today. Okay. Super pumped to be here with you today. Let's see who's watching us live. We want to greet those of you who are in the chat area, because my favorite thing is hanging out with you guys. Want to say what's up to my man, Nick Wood, Air 5 to you. Harley is in the house, who says, ooh, a new camera angle. Why, yes, sir. There is a new camera angle, and I really want to say thanks for noticing. We're working on some new things, and we're really trying to lead the way, so I'm glad that you're here. Larry Cozen is here. He's saying, I love the new graphics. Good to have you here, Larry. And Lead with Jim is here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come back to Lead with Jim, because we've got some really cool things happening today. We've got Chris Durbovin. Sorry, Carlos, I'm taking control. We've got Chris Durbovin in the house, but we also have my man, Joe Eves, in the house, logging in from St. George, Utah. Joe, great to see you. Your brother gave you some pretty amazing shout outs this last weekend. I was at a retreat that was absolutely fantastic. In fact, it was the most fun I've had since the last time I hung out with Angus Nelson. Angus Nelson, good to see you, my man. One of the great leaders, I think, of our time is Angus Nelson. So we're glad to have you here. You Do It is in the house. Nanang is in here. By the way, You Do It. I am pumped that we're going to work together on this project. Me and You Do It have some things we're working on, some things in the mix. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. We've got Jason Blake in the house. He says, hey, newbie here, just starting my live stream journey and using Restream, where I'm super glad that you're here because we're going to be going into all of that today. We've really got a meaty episode for you, so get geared up. But before we jump in, I do want to recognize one of you for really doing an outstanding job with your live stream. And this is a new segment that we call the Streamer of the Week. And this week's Streamer of the Week is Jim Burgoon, also known as Lead with Jim. Jim Burgoon is an international speaker, a leadership coach, and a business visionary renowned for his transformational work with Christ-centered entrepreneurs. He is the host of the Everyday Leader Live, which you can watch every Tuesday on YouTube. Jim shows up every single week. Jim has a great show, and Jim uses the Restream software to broadcast his message. So we want to give a big shout out to Jim as our Streamer of the Week. And if you want to be a Streamer of the Week, if you want to be recognized on this show, then here's what you got to do. You got to share this video right now on your newsfeed. Go ahead, click the share button right now, live or on the replay. Another thing you can do is you can tag 2 people in the comment section that need to hear today's message. So if you know a coach or a consultant, go ahead and tag them. We're going to look at who shared it. We're going to look at who tagged the most people. And one of you will be recognized next week as our Streamer of the Week. Okay, so give it up for Jim in the comment section, please, because Jim's an awesome guy. I really love Jim. Oops, I'm trying to get my, there it is. There it is. I like it. I like it. Okay, who's ready to dive into today's content? If you are ready, say yeah, because we really do have a fantastic show for you today. And if you're just joining us, then I got to decide I don't know when to take a drink here. That was really just more of a nervous drink because we're like starting to get started now. So I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've only done this 1,000 times before. Do you guys still get nervous? How many of you guys still get nervous before you go live? I know that I do. Okay. So today we're talking about live streaming specifically for business coaches and consultants. And this is a space where I spend a lot of time. Most of my clients, I'd say like 90% of my clients are business coaches or consultants of some kind, health coaches, financial coaches, even real estate coaches, if you will, people that coach other real estate agents. And so today's episode is really dedicated to that business person. And as a business coach or a consultant, when you go live, you're going to have different goals than sort of like a YouTuber, right? Your goals are going to be to generate leads, to generate sales, and to generate authority for your business. And to do that, you're going to need a system because you already have clients, right? You already have, a full schedule, I would hope. And you probably are feeling pretty busy as it is. So what we're going to talk about today is how to develop the live stream strategy from beginning to end, right? Like, what content should you be making? How do you make it? How do you promote it? And then how do you know if it's even working for you? We're going to answer those big 4 questions. And we're going to get started right now. So if you have any questions that you want to ask them in the comment section below. We're going to get through this content. We're going to answer some of your questions. And be sure to share your thoughts with us in the comment section because you guys are actually in the field every single day. And we want to hear from your experience. So as we jump into our content today, I want to show you what's called the Video Pro system. And what the Video Pro system is, it's a 4-part workflow that when you master these 4 parts of live streaming, then you've mastered the art of live streaming. And the goal of the Video Pro system is not to create the fanciest looking show, right? It's not to create this big viral show. It's to create a good show that you could implement in a Henry Ford assembly line style fashion, right? So that you can go live every single week without breaking a sweat and generate fresh leads and fresh sales every single week. So I'm going to run through the Video Pro system with you right now. And this is going to be the bulk of our content today. Okay. So the first skill set that we need to learn is the programming skill set. Actually, let me just run through all 4 of these. So it's programming. And this is the content that you're going to make. This is like the actual videos you're going to make. And then it's your production workflow. And production is like, how are you going to make it, right? What camera are you using? How are you, like, what is the copy going to look like? Are you making thumbnails? That sort of thing. Then you're going to go into promotion. This is how do you share it with people. And then, of course, we're going to measure your progress. And you notice how it's called the Video Pro system, and it's like programming, right? Production, promotion, and progress. You see how we okay. You get what we're doing. Okay. So when you look at your progress, you're measuring the analytics that actually move the show forward, because I see a lot of you guys like watching your views and like your live viewership. Like that's what you're looking at, and you're deciding whether or not this is successful. Really, you need to be looking at how many leads and how many sales you're getting. And I would say even comments and impressions. Okay. We're going to go into some of that. We're going to go into some of that today. So let's start. By the way, as I get into this, I have all of this on a checklist. I have all of today's show on a checklist that I will give to you for free. So if you want to have a review of like everything you need to do to create a live stream show from beginning to end, then just type money in the comment section right now. Or if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description box and we'll get you that checklist. What's up, my man? Jay Stevens in the house. Whoop, my man, good to see you. But grab my checklist for live streaming, and it's something that you can use. We actually use it for every single show. Okay. So let's get started today by talking about the programming skill set. Okay. The programming skill set answers the question that I think is on like everybody's mind. It's what types of content should I make that will cause my viewers to take the next step in the sales process? Now, this is key. Okay. Because you want to start with your sales process. And for everybody out there, you really should be starting with a free offer. We also call this a lead magnet. Okay. How many of you guys already have a lead magnet? Angus Nelson, what's your lead magnet? I want to hear it. Ed Weinberg, what's your lead magnet? I want to hear about it. Fabian Ortiz is out there. Nathaniel Garcia, what is your lead magnet? Let me explain what that is. A lead magnet is a free offer. Okay. It's a free offer, like a guide or sort of like, 10 steps to doing X, Y, or Z. You give it away for free in exchange for someone's email or username. We just did it with the checklist, right? And I'm already getting some of you saying, money. So that's a lead. Money. That's 4 leads so far that came from this show. You see how that works? This is how you've got to be doing this in your own shows. And as you're building out, your free offer, your live streaming content strategy, you're thinking, what content should I make for my show? You've got to be thinking, what's going to drive people to my lead magnet? Okay, so that's how I want you to develop your content. And I want you to think about your content like a table, where your tabletop is your brand. Okay, like Angus Nelson works, his free offer is Manhood Matrix. Okay, so I know that he's a coach for men who want to up-level success in their life. Okay, so he's going to want to create live stream shows that are all around getting people into that manhood guide. Now, what I want, that's the tabletop, right? Is that manhood thing, that up-leveling your manhood. That's your tabletop. Then I want you to have 4 legs on your table. What are the 4 legs? 4 different categories of video that your viewers would relate to. Now, here's sort of an example for me, right? For you're in the YouTube or live streaming space, I could do like one leg of my table could be gear, talking about gear. Another leg of my table could be YouTube tips. Another leg of my table could be Restream tutorials. Another leg of my table could be mobile live streaming, you see. But underneath those 4 categories, I can start to unpack multiple titles. And this is the way you have to think about your content. So I want you guys to take a minute right now. Think, what are the 4 legs to your table? Okay. Lead with Jim is in leadership coaching. What are the 4 legs of that table? And what I want to do while you're thinking of that is I want to run through an example of a health coach. Okay. So let's just kind of take this example of a health coach. Let's say, but this, by the way, is my one of my clients, Angelica Ventris, who is a fantastic health coach for corporate and extremely busy women. She works with those types, mostly, and she has a free offer. Okay, her free offer is called the Superfoods Shopping List: 10 items you should buy at the store today. So what we want to do is we want to create content that will lead people to that free offer. Now, I called these the legs of the table, but we can also talk about them as silos, like a barn has silos, or like you walk into a candy store and like all the green jelly beans are in a green silo and all the red jelly beans are in a red silo, right? Like silos are categories, they're legs of your table. So one leg of her table could be food topics. And so a title that she could do for a live stream could be, 10 foods to avoid. Another one could be like 10 best fat burning foods. And you don't even need to do 10. You could just call it the best fat burning foods that you need to put in your fridge today, right? The best energizing foods, biggest food mistakes. You see, those are 4 separate live stream titles that she could be producing to satisfy her content strategy. And by creating this list of 4 video topics, she has 4 weeks of live streams already planned out. Isn't that incredible? That's incredible. It is. I'm trying to play. There it is. I know. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's good stuff. Okay, so let's kind of look at some more. Silo number 2, she could do an exercise silo. And that might be best fat burning exercises. And keep in mind, she doesn't have to show the exercises. She could just talk about them. Here's a great idea. You could do a YouTube pre-recorded video that has you doing the exercises. And then you talk about the exercises on your live stream and link people to your videos. That's a major win. I need to get a sound effect that's like a win sound effect. I don't really have one yet. Okay. What are some other titles? Best exercises for abs, easy home exercises, and some leg toning exercises. All of that is really, really good. So what I want you to do right now is just take a moment right now and jot down 5 live stream titles that would drive people to your free offer. Just take a moment right now to do that. I'm going to sip my coffee while you're doing that. Okay, let's just think about what are some topics that you could do for your show. Okay, because when you have 4, 5, 10 topics, that's 10 weeks of shows. And now you can move into the next part of the puzzle, which is your production. Okay, so let's take a look again at that graphic. Okay, so we just talked about programming, and we talked about what are like 5 or 10 episodes that you could do so that you know what your programming strategy is going to be. Now let's move into your production strategy. Okay. Now, what I would love for you to do is, for those of you that did the exercise, whether you're watching live or on the replay, go ahead and share with us some of the titles. Put them in one at a time or put them in multiple. Carlos, you put them up on the screen as they come up. And then, guys, tell us if you like them. In the, say, oh, I like that title, or, oh, hey, here's a version, here's an idea for you. I'd love for you guys to kind of like, communicate with each other and be a part of this community. And by the way, if you'd like to join us in our community, we have a Facebook group with 10,000 members. It's called Livestream Video Masterminds, and you can join it. You can join us for free. Just type money in the comment section, and when you do, we'll actually reach out to you. We'll just give you give you a link right directly to it. You're going to get that in the email anyway, so you'll be able to join us there. But excuse me, we would love for you to join us there. Okay, so now that you have your programming in line, let's talk about your, excuse me, Ash Borland. Did you suddenly put a frog in my throat? Is that part of your plan to bring me down? I'm coming after you, Ash Borland. It's good to see you. Ash, by the way, has a fantastic podcast. And Ash, if you're not already, you should switch to Restream for that podcast. Stop recording your podcast on Zoom, guys. Like, use Restream. It's free. Okay, let's talk about production. Now, your production workflow. This is about a conveyor belt approach to streamline your content creation. And when we talk about a conveyor belt approach, what we're talking about is having a checklist that will get you moving from beginning to end without breaking a sweat. You have to be able to sit down every week in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, and go live without breaking a sweat. If every week you're finding a camera, switching lenses, and turning your lights on and off and trying to find a place, and like setting up a camera and tearing it down, you are never going to win. Not only are you never going to win, you are going to exhaust yourself, okay? So what you need to do is to find an area in your home or office, largely it's your desk, and transform your desk into a video creation station. Okay? Transform your desk into a video creation station. And what that looks like is you've got your computer right here, okay? You've got your microphone plugged into your computer, okay? And then you've got your camera looking right at you, also plugged into your computer. And all of this stuff is here all the time. I never move it, okay? Watch this, everybody. Watch it. When I'm done live streaming, I put the mic down and I put it out of my way. You see? And so the microphone's not in my way when I'm broadcasting here. I can just, now here's the thing. When I get an email from someone, let's say I get an email or a Facebook Messenger text from somebody who's like in my group and they got a question. They want to know how to do X, Y, or Z. Well, then what I can do is I can just quickly turn on my camera, press record on Restream, because with Restream, you can actually record video without going live. And I can record a 2-minute answer for them, put that video on YouTube. Okay? Similarly, with my live stream show, every Monday at noon or every Wednesday at 4, I can sit down in front of my computer, turn on my camera, and go live. Okay. Now, what camera do you get? Now, here's the thing. With what camera do you get? If you are a techie nerd, kind of like me, it took me a while to become, like, I've always been into tech, but cameras have always been a challenge for me. So when I first started, I was using a webcam and a very simple mic. In fact, we have a mic. If you want to get our gear guide, again, just type money. I'm sorry to be like overselling you guys today. I don't mean to be. We just had a lot we wanted to give you because it's an introductory video. So, type money in the gear and we'll give you our gear guide. But like, you could get a webcam and you will have a great live stream show if you focus on the programming. However, if you're into fancy tech and you want to get a fancy camera and do all sorts of fancy things, by all means, go for it. However, it could be a major bottleneck for you if you don't really know how to use that content. Okay, so here's my advice to you. In setting up your production workflow, here's what you need. You need to pick a day and a time each week that you're going to go live. So if you're going to go live Monday at 9 a.m., you're going to go live Monday at 9 a.m. for, let's say, 5 episodes. Okay, now and what's the best time to go live? I mean, there's two perfect times to go live. A, whenever you schedule it, and B, whenever your audience is online. For many of you, you're gonna find that you have an hour. You have Monday at 9 a.m. is a great time for you. So just pick that time. There's a billion people on social media at all times. Okay. So, but here's the thing, you got to go live Monday at 9 for like 5 weeks in a row. And then maybe the next 5 weeks go live Wednesday at 3 and see if your audience changes. Okay. And you're going to do 10 episodes, but I want you to pick a day and a time each week that you're going to go live. We go live every single Monday at noon PST. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2 is you've got to have your camera and your mic ready to go. Okay. Whether you're using a webcam or you're using a DSLR, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Get started with a USB webcam so that you could sit and you can just go and you can record stuff. The third thing you need to do is you got to get Restream, because whether or not you're using Restream or not, you have to have some type of software to get you onto the internet. Restream is the best software. All right. So with those three things in place, you now have 10 episodes that you're going to do. You also have a date, a time, and the software to produce those shows. And so now we're going to talk about promotion. How do we promote those shows? Now, I would love to hear from you in the comment section right now, whether you're watching live or on the replay. How do you promote your show? How do you promote your show right now? It's a great thought, Larry. Wow. Powerful. Because there's two different ways to promote your show. Okay. When you're promoting your show, what we're talking about is getting it out into new audiences. And there's two ways to do that. Number one is external, meaning like sharing it. Like, how do you get your show and put it in front of people via a link? But then there's also the algorithm, the internal promotion. So we have internal and external. Okay. Now, when it comes to internal promotion, what we're talking about here is we're talking about creating a show that triggers the algorithm on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. So that's going to go into your programming strategy, right? It's going to go into, like, you can promote your show by having a great title. And if you have a great title, more people will click on it. Yes? Okay. You can promote your show by scheduling your show in advance. You can promote your show by having segments like Streamer of the Week, in which people will share and tag others to bring them into your show. Okay. So this is your internal promotion. Now, what is your external promotion? Okay. Well, your external promotion is going to be stuff like sharing your show via your email list. And that's the big one I wanted to talk to you guys about today, is all of you need to have an email list that you are sending alerts every time you do a video. And you can do it a couple different ways, right? You can first, Liron's in the house, everybody. Liron, what's up, my man? So good to see you. TBF is in the house. Nick Wood is saying, loving this. By the way, love that you guys are here. Love that Jay Stevens is here, guys. I do want to say, go check out Jay Stevens on YouTube. Probably one of the funniest comedians coming up in the space right now. And I really enjoy his content, millions of views on his content. So glad you're here, Jay Stevens. So let's talk about, like, your email list. Like, and Jay Stevens, I'm talking to you here. You've got to have an email list. Now, how do you do that, right? You got to have that free offer, right? Now, Jay, as a comedian, it's a little bit different for you than as a coaching consultant. But Jay, if I were you, I would just have like a Jay's fan club mailing list, right? Hey, join my email list, right? For those of you that are coaches, you've got to have like a top 10 guide or something that's generating a list. And even if you have 10 people on that list, every time you go live, you let them know we're live. Here's what you do. You write out an email that's a template. And then every week, all you do is you change the image and you change the subject line. That's it. If you have a good title, people will tune in because you're doing that internal marketing. Okay. Now, we have a list of 18,000 people that we've been developing over years, right? So we have those divided into segments, and some of them are like live stream videos. Some of them are like YouTube videos. Some of them are like, do not contact, right? They just were like, hey, I don't ever write me again, or like unsubscribes, right? We don't ever email them. But we have different segments on our list. And so when we go live, what we do is we actually email after the show is over. And in the show, we tell people how to watch it live. You get it? Now, what does that do for me? It means that I'm not stressed out trying to write an email when I should be focusing on my live show. Instead, I focus on the live show, and then I email it. I actually have my email writer mail it out after she watches it and can find out what the show is all about, and she can write the email a little bit better. Okay. So you guys got to have an email list. The other part of that is you've got to be multicasting. Multicasting is huge. For example, right now we're multicasting on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're actually on like 7 different Facebook pages, 2 different YouTube channels, and we have a total of about 30 people watching right now. And all of that is made possible by the software we're using, where we can restream or multi-stream on all of these different channels. So when you go live, you want to go live on lots of different platforms, okay? Not just one. And that's really important. That way you could be on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn at the same time, okay? Kathy Fitt's watching. By the way, Kathy Fitt is one of our star players at the Video Marketing School, which is my coaching program. If you would like a coach to help walk you through this process, then check us out at thevideomarketingschool.com. Click the link above to get on the phone with me, and let's see if working with the coach is the right thing for you. But for now, let's go back to our promotional checklist. So we talked about our email, and we talked about restreaming on multiple platforms. The last thing I want to mention today is repurposing. Okay. And so what repurposing is when let's say you're doing your live stream, and let's say like 25 minutes in, like I got this great question and I wanted people to, it's like a question I get all the time. Well, what I can do is I can take that one clip. You just go to YouTube, you take a clip, or you download it from Restream. You chop off the beginning and chop off the end using free software, or even software on your phone. And then you take just that like minute and a half, 2 minutes of your live stream, and you add that into your social media programming, or you upload that video on Instagram. Okay. So if you're doing, like, this is a big thing for business coaches and for consultants, you should do a Q&A show where you've already pre-written out 20 questions you get all the time, and questions you want to get all the time. And what you do is you just answer those questions, over the course of a half an hour or 30 minutes. And then you repurpose, you cut out each individual question and then repaste it on LinkedIn or on Instagram as micro vids. And at the end of those micro vids, you always say, hey, if you want to catch the show live, be sure to join us at XYZ. Better yet, have a web URL. Hey, to catch us live, go to thebusinessoflivevideo.com or whatever the case might be. Okay. So that's how you're going to promote your show. These are just some ideas of how you're going to promote your show. And then finally, we're going to move into progress. Okay. How do you progress your show? All right. What progress stands for are the analytics, literally the data that you're going to look at that helps you decide whether your show is successful or not, right? Is your show successful, and how do you grow it? Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at in the progress section of the Video Pro system. Okay, and there's 2 big things I want you to look at. I want you to look at YouTube, and I want you to look at Facebook. Now, if you're going to live stream on LinkedIn and Instagram and Periscope, right? That's how I feel about Periscope or Twitter Live or whatever it's called. Like, unless you have a very active Twitter following, there's not much activity going on there. But those sites don't give you a ton of stats to work with. They're pretty meaningless stats. What you want to work with is YouTube and Facebook. Those are the behemoths. Those are the big boys. Okay. And you're going to want to look at 2 different sets of metrics on those channels. Okay. Let's talk about YouTube first. On YouTube, you want to be looking at, Kathy is saying, but I love IG. It's different for you, Kathy, because, and Kathy is a health coach. You actually have an Instagram strategy. I'm talking about somebody that, like, if you're not already popular on Instagram, I don't suggest starting like too much stuff on Instagram. I suggest starting with a live stream show and then building everything around your live stream show, which might include Instagram, but don't overwhelm yourself. Start with a live stream show. Just get that off the ground. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about, okay? Now, Liron is saying, this is great. Liron is saying, if you want to ask me your question, join me live, works really well. Now, Liron has 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is a guy who knows what he's talking about. So yeah, I love that. In your repurpose videos, say something like, hey, if you want to ask your question, then join me live. I love that. That's wonderful. Hey, we got Faye's World Media watching us. Good to see you. Faye's World, actually. I'm looking at this so quickly. Faye is here. Good to have you here. So we're talking about how to measure your progress, like what's important to measure. And we're talking about YouTube. The first thing is your click-through rate. Your click-through rate measures how many times your video thumbnail appeared on a screen versus how many times someone clicked it. So if your video appeared on 100 screens and 30 people watched it, you got 30 views and a 30% click-through rate. So let's say you got a 30% click-through rate on YouTube and you emailed it out. Like that's 30 views plus whoever watched it from your email list. Okay. So your promotion affects your progress and what numbers you're measuring. The other thing I want you to look at on YouTube is your total watch time, what we call average view duration, or AVD for short. Okay. Your average view duration is how long did people watch it? Now here's a shocker. When people watch an hour live stream, they may only watch 10 or 15 minutes of it. That's just a fact. But if you were to upload a 10-minute video, they'd only watch 3 to 4 minutes of it. You get what I'm saying? So by going live for an hour, you can actually triple or quadruple your average watch time without editing any video and without having to pre-record any video. And that's part of what makes live stream so powerful. Okay. So you want to be looking at your watch time, and then you want to be looking at your click-through rate. Notice I didn't say views. I didn't say your views, because your views are a direct result of your watch time and your click-through rate. Boom. Boom. I need to have, again, thank you. Right? Like you need to impact those two things, and then you'll be able to impact the rest. Now, what about Facebook? Facebook is a totally different animal. And I turn into an animal when I talk about Facebook metrics, because look, I love Facebook Live. I truly do. And I've talked smack about it in the past, because Facebook changes their policies every freaking day. And so staying on top of that is a challenge, no doubt. But I have learned this: a good show will transcend algorithms. Okay. If you're good on video, if you're systematic, you'll transcend the policies. But Facebook is not like YouTube. Okay. YouTube is where people go to watch video. Facebook is more like the mall. And what I mean by that is people go to the mall for all sorts of reasons. They want to go to the food court. They want to go to Robinson's May, right? Or H&M, right? Abercrombie. Maybe they're just going to hang out. Like I know when I had young kids, like small kids, we took our kids to the mall just for the free playland and the $1 McDonald's cones. So people go to Facebook for like pictures of their grandkids, to talk to their bowling group, to see like what the latest news is, and all those different things. And your video has to convince them to stop. So it's a totally different environment, and therefore you're going to be measuring totally different metrics on Facebook. On Facebook, I want you to be looking for total engagements, okay? I want you guys to put yes in the comment section right now. Just type yes or no or 5. I don't care. Type Bill. Type Billy Bo Bob Jenkins, live or on the replay. Type it for me right now. Here's my point. Go ahead. I want to see it. I want to see it come in on this chat here. Type yes, no, 3, 4, 5, something. Because what that does is it increases our engagements. You see this? Thank you. Thank you. What this does is this is showing YouTube and Facebook that you are engaged on the platform. And at the end of the show, it's going to show me engagement. And when you engage more, Facebook will send the live stream out into more news feeds. Do you want to get way good engagement? Now, notice how I asked all of you for just like a one-word sort of answer. And by the way, we have 31 viewers, which is our top viewership so far this episode, which is great. And I love it because it happened right after I asked y'all to engage, right? On Facebook, you want to be measuring engagement. How do you do that? By asking people to comment, by asking people to actually talk with you and share their examples. If you want to get great engagement on a show, you want to be searching for like 100 comments in the first half an hour. Bigger shows will get it way faster. Get 100 comments. And by the way, on Restream will show you when you get 100 comments, it will give you like a quick award. It will show you, hey, congratulations, you did it. So you measure that which can be measured, right? So you try to get 100 comments as quickly as you can, and then you try to get to 200 comments. How do you do that? By asking questions, providing real feedback, and even having guests on your show. We would like to have more guests on our show because that's a real big thing. So on Facebook, you want to be measuring your progress by measuring engagement, and you also want to be measuring in this case, you do want to be measuring your views. Okay. Now on Facebook, we don't look at watch time. And here's why, because you're going to get less watch time, like tremendously less. Why? Because people aren't on Facebook for the sole purpose of watching video. Similarly, it's very hard on Facebook, on mobile to like on YouTube, I can listen to the show and go do other things on my phone. You can't do that with Facebook. So if I'm watching a live stream on Facebook, I'm kind of stuck there unless I'm on a desktop. So measure your views on Facebook because that shows you how many news feeds you got into. And between those two metrics, you can really learn a lot about what you should do more in your show. Now, let me give you guys a quick look and we'll wrap up of what these metrics might look like, okay, in your show. You know, for example, this was an episode back in December that we did that had, average watch time minutes of 106,000 minutes. And of course, over here, we can look at average stream duration on the left-hand side. We can look at how many messages we got. We can look at how many chats and comments were engaged in. We can see what how many viewers we had on the different platforms. This is so valuable. Okay, because by looking at when you have the peak moments of your show, like when you have the most viewers, that can help you decide the future content that you'll do on your show. Okay, now, the more you measure, this is key, the more you measure your progress, I want you guys to stick with me on this, the more you measure your progress and what's working, okay, you will change your programming strategy. So you're going to find that you're making progress with one of your silos, with one of the legs of your table, and then you're going to do more of that in your programming. If you find that one of the legs is not giving you progress, you're going to stop doing it. So your progress impacts your programming. Your programming impacts your production workflow. Your production workflow feeds your promotion workflow, and your promotion workflow impacts your progress. You guys are going to be hearing a lot more about this in the coming weeks on this show as we dive deeper into strategy, content strategy, production workflow, and even more. But now what I want to do is get into your questions and use this time to sort of read all of the questions that have been coming in while we have been watching. So Carlos, I'm gonna take over the lower thirds. By the way, guys, give it up for Carlos. Carlos is, yeah, he deserves it. Carlos is running the show from behind the scenes and making sure all the links get posted and all that kind of stuff. And he really does a great job. So first thing, Carlos, I'm gonna take over some of the lower thirds for a quick second here. My boy Leron is saying, and this data is amazing for working with brands. It really is. And if you are a coach or a consultant, then you really should be trying to partner with your vendors. You know, like if you are a business coach and you get a lot of referrals from you know, a friend, a colleague of yours, talk to that colleague about sponsoring your show. And you can do it for, you know, cheap, or you could kind of add some money. But the whole idea is you say, if you advertise on my show, we'll establish more of a connection, and you could actually get help in building the show. Rena Romano is saying, I need to start live streaming. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm saying I'm screaming it. I'm screaming it. Okay. Larry Kosin is saying, Facebook is the mall and YouTube is the theater. Yeah, I definitely, and Faye is saying she loves that metaphor too. Couldn't be more true. You know, YouTube is they go into it thinking I'm gonna watch a video. They go into it going, who am I gonna sit down in front of? And your internal marketing, your internal promotion develops your show. You want a good example? Go to the beginning of this show. The beginning of this show is all done live, but it's all done to engage the replay viewer after the show. And that's the whole goal, is to get somebody on YouTube to sit and watch. Okay. Let's see what Larry's saying. Robin Spielberg goes live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every Friday and Saturday, but we take down the Facebook stream, pointing everyone to YouTube for the replays. I like that a lot. Now, that may not work for everyone, but we're live streaming on the Owen Video channel right now. After it's live, we do disconnect it. And what we do, we unlist it. And then what we do is we share it with our email list, but we lead them to the Restream YouTube channel, you see. And what that does is that helps us to grow the show with the Restream audience. And that's one of our goals for this show. Okay, so let's go into some of your questions. Are Restream stats better than YouTube stats? That's a great question. And so what Junction is referring to here is the stats that you get from Restream. Some of them are the same. Some of them go beyond what YouTube gives you. That's the big answer. And that's why I like it, because I get these stats that I can't get on YouTube, like cumulative watch time, cumulative rise and fall time. And so, you know, when live streaming first started, it was one platform at a time, but now it's largely a Restreaming multi-platform event, right? So you want to be on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, all at the same time. When you do that, you're going to get different stats. And so I will actually show you a quick, I didn't even realize it was up on the screen right now. You can't really see that, but we use a live stream tracker that we use to track all of our live stream shows. And some of this comes from YouTube. Some of it comes from the Restream stats, but we have our own Excel spreadsheet that Carlos fills out at the end of each show that we can track our show. And if you type money in the comment section, so many of you already have, but if you type money in the comment section, we will send that to you along with the live stream checklist, the gear guide, and you'll get our live stream tracker template. So it's really, it's a big free offer. And we're sort of piecemealing it to you at the time. Okay, we had another question in there. Leron has just got tons of great advice, who says, you know, you could take your audio from the live stream and boom, you have a podcast, new audience with no work. In fact, we're doing that right now with one of our clients, Dr. Jake. We are filming on Restream. We're not live though, but we record it as if we were live. So we don't like cut and re-record. But we go live. When he gets better, we will go live, but he's still learning. You know, he's a doctor. He's learning how to live stream. But we record it live, called live to tape. We use Restream for that. And then Restream gives us the recordings. So we just download the audio, make a few snips, and it's good to go. So that's something to think about. Okay, let's talk stroke. My good friend Jerry is saying, here's a title sample. 4-time stroke survivor Jerry Wald shares his inspirational journey. Okay, you know, here's what I want you to think about. Like, 4-time stroke survivor is all most people are going to read. Okay. So is that enough to get their attention? That's the thing I really want you to ask yourself. Like, is that enough? I don't think that it is. Instead, I would try to focus those first few words on the value of the show. Now, I know that it's like inspirational journey, but let's see how many different ways can we explain that? Like, how about surviving a stroke ? Here's how I did it. Or this stroke survivor is now walking and talking without help or something, right? And then in that, Jerry, you share your inspirational journey. You see where I'm going with this? My friend Liron and I, we talked we hung out all weekend, and we talked a lot about this. We talked a lot about title strategies, and so I want you to Jerry, think of some new titles that are maybe more about enticing the audience to check in and less about you as a person. Okay, that's a big one. Larry Kosin is saying Restream has been a game changer for us. I love it. Kathy Fit is saying this is going to be on a replay always and forever. Check the Restream channel on YouTube, and we will see you there. Marilyn Monroe, does Restream work well with Elgato Stream Deck? Yes. In fact, I am using a version similar. Okay, so I'm using, let me see if I can lift this up here. I am using this guy right here. I got to get I'm afraid I'm going to unplug it. What this is actually an X Keys device. Oh, you know what? It might even be better on this camera. Okay, so I'm using an X Keys device right here, and it's the same thing as a Stream Deck. In fact, if I had to do it all over again, I would have bought the Stream Deck. Okay, it's what my buddy Nick uses. It is a phenomenal piece of gear, and like I can label these with a paper and pen. Like, how archaic is that? With a Stream Deck, you can actually upload digital icons that will light up, so you could change buttons and different things. But with Restream, using Restream and my Stream Deck here, I'm able to do a lot of things. Like, I can bleep out swear words, right? I've even got, you've heard some of these sound effects. You suck. Right. Thank you, Stewie, for that. But I've got a laugh track here. And I'm able to switch cameras. Right? I'm able to switch cameras really quickly. I can go to this back camera. And of course, you got to have the capabilities to have multiple cameras in order to do that, but it's all very, very possible. And, even some of that other stuff we did in the beginning, let me show you an example right now, is I could add Ricky and Lucy back in. You see what I'm saying? And then take them back off again. So yeah, Restream works really well with some of this, some of these features, and that's why I really love this software. And we've used other softwares. We've used a lot of other softwares. Restream is where we call home because it's just better. So Jay Stevens is asking, is Restream better than StreamYard? Absolutely 100% yes. And that's not StreamYard's a great product. I'm not here to talk smack on StreamYard. In fact, some of my closest friends are StreamYard ambassadors. So I'm not here. I'm actually here to tell you that StreamYard is a fine product. But when compared to Restream blows them out of the park. Here's one of the reasons why. Number one is when Restream can't go to more than, Restream can go to more platforms. StreamYard can only go to a couple platforms. StreamYard is very sort of ineffective for the guest. So if you have a guest on, they can't really engage with people. They have to sign in, and then you have to sign out again. It's this whole process, whereas Restream doesn't have that. Now, I know somebody at StreamYard is going to go, oh, well, hey, if you do this and this and this and this and this, and I get that, right? What I'm looking for is an out-of-the-box, I don't have to be a pro to make this thing work. And that's why I love Restream. With Restream, look at this show, man. I got comments over here. And here's the thing, Jay, I'm teaching my kids how to do this. It's very easy to use. It's a set it and forget it type of thing. So yes, I always feel awkward because I never want to put down a company. Like if there was a company that was just like unscrupulous, I would tell you guys. But like StreamYard's developed a good product. Restream has developed an amazing product. And so we have actually encouraged our clients using StreamYard to switch over. And I would suggest for you to do the same thing. Plus, you're my boy, right? You can call me anytime, right? Jay and I are like buds from like we go back. We met in a comedy club a couple years ago. And so that's why it's like, oh, why does he get Owen's text number? By the way, if you do want my text number, if you want to work with me privately, then go to thevideomarketingschool.com and click work with us. We have 2 different ways that you can work with us. You can work with us in our group training where you get private access to me once a month, or you can work with us in our private training program where you get access to me all the time. And this is something big to think about, especially if you're a business coach or a consultant and you are looking to grow your business. Okay. What do we got? We've got Scott Squires is saying, how many hours can you stream using OBS to Restream? As long as the platform allows. Okay, so YouTube allows up to 11 hours and 59 seconds, but I would not suggest that. Okay, I would suggest like underneath that. I would actually like 8 to 10 hours if you're going to do like one of these, constantly streaming channels. But there is no limit, okay, on how long you can do that. The limits come down to the platforms you're streaming to and whether or not you're in violation of their streaming policies. So that's the real question that you've got to ask. Yes, my man, Get Noticed with Video. Hey, Get Noticed with Video. You got to follow me over at the Owen Video channel. Like maybe there's collab space for us. I've grown to be a huge fan of Restream. We got Carlos Beta saying Stream Deck is awesome. In fact, Carlos has Stream Deck, and so that's really good. Larry Cozen is saying Restream has awesome tech support. I agree. They are, when there's an issue, they jump on it. My man Sebastian Rusk, guys, follow Sebastian Rusk. He will teach you how to podcast like a boss. And then Jay, we met on the mean streets of Utah. It's true. It's absolutely true, that story. And you can even see my bald head in Jay's comedy special that is on VidAngel right now. So don't forget that. And we got the Orlando guy coming in saying, hey, Owen Video, Restream and Ecamm are superior products. Yes, love Ecamm. Don't use it because I'm on a PC. However, if you're streaming on a Mac, Ecamm and Restream are powerful. Where's my man Chris Giles? Wasn't Chris Giles here a second ago? Look, phenomenal streamer, guys. These are some people to follow for sure. Okay, Marilyn Monroe is asking, can you bring people on live with Restream? Yes, you can. In fact, they make it really easy. Let me show it to you right here. Okay, so when you click on these buttons down here, you can invite a guest to come on to your Restream live broadcast with you. And here's the best part, is that link never changes. So you can give out that link. You can do your Zoom meetings on Restream. You can do your podcasts on Restream. I do my sales calls on Restream. I do my team meetings on Restream because we can record them. We can record segments of them. We can download them as is, and we can invite different people. Like I can invite my producer. I can invite my graphic designer and all these different types of people. So yes, you can bring people up to 10 on, and I don't know how many the other softwares do, but 10 is a lot. 10 is a lot. And here's the thing about Restream that I love more than anything is that it just works like all the time. It really does. It's a plug and play scenario. And that's what I want for you guys. Okay. Next question is, do the streams remain on the platform after each show is finished? Yes, but you do need to get the $16 plan. Okay. So for $16, you can get that. You can have recordings of your streams, of your videos. And what that does is it opens up the ability to record pre-recorded videos. So for example, I record a video podcast on Restream, but we're not live. Okay, it's with a doctor. I mentioned him earlier. We record it on Restream, but we're not live because I have that $16 plan. And I get what, once I'm done, it stay like, as soon as I'm done with this show, Restream will say, do you want to download the files? And it will give me the option. Do you want to download the whole video? Do you want to download the audio only? Or do you want to download your audio only plus your guest's audio? So Restream will even record your guest's audio separate from yours so that you can like edit them or have your editor edit them. So yes, you can get all of that, and it's all available. You can't record on the free plan, but the free plan does almost everything else. The $16 plan allows you to have recording time, but it also allows you to, like, the free plan, you can go onto multiple sites, but you can't do multiple groups in the sites. For example, I can stream on one YouTube channel and one Facebook channel, but on the free plan, I can't stream to 2 YouTube channels at the same time. Okay. On the $16 plan, I can go to 2 YouTube channels. I can go to 4 Facebook pages and 2 Facebook groups. And, you know, so the $16 plan really is, you know, a rock star thing. And Rockstar Rochelle says, I love the new look. We love showing it off. We got my good, so thank you so much for that. My good buddy Sebastian is saying, how can I use multiple camera views with Restream? I think is what he's saying. You've got to have what's called a cam link. Do I have a? Let me show you guys what I've got here. Hang on. I'm dropping it. I hate dead air. Okay, but I want to show you guys something. So this is a cam link, okay? And with a cam link, you can turn any camera into a webcam, and you can plug 2 of these into your computer and have 2 cameras. So when you do that, Sebastian, you have the ability to kind of like add this cool side-to-side feature in your thing. Now, if you guys are using USB webcams, like you have a webcam, you can use 2 USB webcams. You don't need a cam link. You see what I'm saying? But if you've got a cam link, Sebastian, then I would get a second one, plug it into your computer, and that way you've got 2 cameras going, or 1 webcam and a cam link or whatever it is. And then you can just switch back and forth inside of Restream. I actually have a computer that has 3 different deals, and I can share my screen with you, you know, pretty quickly as well. So that gives you, that gives us like a ton of great value. Okay. Sebastian is saying, what's that thing with the pink buttons that you're pressing? So we talked about that a second ago, but since you're new, I'll explain it one more time. So this is called an X keys. And what it is, it's like a mixing board, so to speak. So I can, you know, press these buttons here and it will change camera angles. And I can even play, you know, some sound effects and do some other cool things. It puts it all at the push of a button. And so when I'm preparing the show, I actually practice with my hand here. And I practice kind of like, when I say this, show this, and then Carlos, you do that, and some of those things there. Okay. All right, guys, that is our show for today. It has been a pleasure talking with you today. And I am, you know, so many more comments that are coming in that I wish I could get to. But remember, we will be back next week with another episode that we're going to go into the strategy for another vertical, another industry. And you're going to learn some brand new things. So remember, go get your free trial of Epic at epiclivevideo.com. Go get a free trial of Restream, or upgrade your existing account. How do I, Carlos, get out of this? Oh, it's the chat. Or upload your existing account and you will be entered to win a Rode podcast mic. We're going to give it away at the end of January. Can't wait to see you on the next show. I'm Owen Video, and I will see you next time.